There is a big misconception concerning world hunger. Matter of fact, I would say it's a giant misconception. You see, there is about 828 million hungry people in the world. And the way the media portrays it, all of these people are in Africa. But the whole of Africa has only 1.4 billion inhabitants. And from that, only 20% are facing chronic hunger, meaning that only 278 million people have a constant shortage of food and nourishment in Africa. And if you've done the math, that amounts to a mere third of all the hungry people in the world. So the media has been feeding us while ignoring the elephant on the globe of 550 million hungry people. But if all the hungry people aren't in Africa, where are they from then? I am glad you've asked. Asia, but also Middle East and South America. The other day I've seen a funny short on how to solve world hunger.
If you want to stop world hunger, stop sending them food. Don't send these people another bite, folks. You want to send them something, you want to help, send them U-Hauls. Send them U-Hauls, some luggage, send them a guy out there that goes, hey, you know, we've been driving out here every day with your food for like the last, I don't know, 30, 40 years. And we were driving out here today across the desert, and it occurred to us there wouldn't be world hunger if you people would live where the food is! You live in a desert! You understand that? You live in a fucking desert! Nothing grows out here! Nothing's gonna grow out here! You see this? Huh? See this? This is sand! Yeah! It's sand! You know it's gonna be 100 years from now, huh? It's gonna be sand! You live in a fucking desert! Get your kids, get your shit, we'll make one trip! We'll take you to where the food is! We have deserts in America, we just don't live in them, asshole!
Although this got me laughing even for the third time seeing it, now we know that not all malnourished people live in a desert. So, what's the real cause of world hunger? According to many NGOs, the reasons for hunger in Asia are conflict, the ripple effects of the pandemic, inflation, weather extremes, and the war in Ukraine. In Africa, it's mostly for the same reasons, but there is one more. Asia and Africa are quite similar in that a big percentage of both populations relies on agriculture for their livelihood. But in Asia, these farmers are growing rice, wheat, and other actual foods. On the other hand, African farmers have been heavily incentivized to produce coffee, cocoa, and other, for the most part, inedible stuff for American and European companies, which may be more profitable in the short term, but when times are bad, the farmer doesn't have nothing to eat. An African farmer grows, for example, cocoa beans, sells them for dirt cheap to Mondelez or whatever because he really doesn't have any other choice, and then goes to buy imported wheat to have something to eat for dinner. But when global wheat supplies are short and inflation soaring, his measly paycheck doesn't even allow him to buy grains to provide for his family. I've let that sink in and figured out that what this essentially boils down to is that the global supply chain is broken. Luckily, this has a simple solution. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you may have noticed one of my first videos about hunger in Madagascar. In there, I describe my plan for solving the food crisis in one of the percentage-wise hungriest nations in the world. So, I'll be borrowing from my previous idea. Also, if you want to watch the video, you'll be doing this on your own risk, because almost everything about the video is trash, except for me and the idea, of course. So, what I have in mind for solving world hunger is localizing food production for every hungry region out there, so that it can't be disrupted by no inflation, international conflict, etc. This comes in multiple phases. Phase 1: fundraising. Well, infrastructure projects are expensive, so this would need some UN, African Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, and so on financing. Maybe even some commercial investments. Phase 2: R&D. No, not the music genre, that's R&B. I said R&D. This step would require researching something like 15 to 20 major crops/staples in every region. With this info, scientists, university students, Santa Claus, maybe even me would devise and test the most suitable and efficient growing systems for each one of the crops based on the conditions in the respective regions and make them climate change proof. I'm now talking stuff like low-tech aquaponic cassava farms, growing wheat through regenerative agriculture, low-tech greenhouses for whatever, and similar. Now, once we would be armed with all these specifically designed growing systems, we would use the acquired funds to build them. So, phase 3, erection and planning. Each family, village, city, depending on the size, would have one or more farms growing one or more of the staples. Now, planning the dimensions of each farm would require real precise demographic research, because I've devised a whole socialistically looking system that goes with the farms. Before you start typing the comments, I am from a post-Soviet country, so I know the risks, comrade. Anyways, in addition to the farms, there would be a food bank in every region. Each farm would grow a certain amount of crop or meat, let's say 25 units. It would then keep 1 unit and send the other 24 to the food bank. The food bank in return would send to the farm 1 unit of each of the other 19 staples that are grown in the region. The production systems would therefore have to be balanced so that every farm will in the end have all of the regional staples once the food bank is done with the shuffling around. Quick recap. Each farm grows something, keeps 1 unit from the harvest, and sends the rest to the food bank. So the food bank receives almost the whole harvest of all the staples in the region, divides it up, looks at what farms grew which produce, and sends them parcels with all of the other staples that the respective farm didn't grow. So in the end, everybody has 1 unit of everything. This would ensure balanced diets for the majority of hungry people. And if you've counted along the way, if a farm grows 25 units of something, sends 24 to the food bank, and the food bank sends out only 19 from that, this means that the food bank gets to keep 5 units of each staple. This additional produce could then be sold in richer regions of the countries, so that this whole system would generate some profit, or at least income, so that it could sustain itself. I didn't want this video to be too long, so please let me know in the comments if you would like me to dive deeper into the logistics of my intricate idea. Thanks for watching.